This is the Kia EV2 Standard Range in the color Morning Haze. And this is my full review. We're gonna walk through all the details, all its perks, ups and downs. Welcome to It's Only Electric. Let's start.
It's only electric.
The EV2 is the smallest EV in Kia's lineup, but it's still 20 centimeters longer than Hyundai Inster. And that's a lot. Total length 4 meters and 6 centimeters. Wheelbase 2.56 meters. The curb weight 1,650 kilograms. And this is with the small battery pack, the standard range version. LFP pack with a gross capacity of 42.2 kilowatt hours, net capacity 40.2 kilowatt hours. The stated WLTP range is 317 kilometers with the standard rims. This is extra equipment 18-inch, so the stated range for this specific car is 308 kilometers. The good thing though, since this is a LFP pack, you can utilize that whole range because you charge the battery to 100% regularly. With this charge port placed at the right front fender, it does have a DC charge capacity, fast charging capacity of 115 kilowatts on a 400 volt charging system, 10 to 80% in around 29 minutes according to Kia themselves. And I'm gonna test that in my next video. I put the link up here when that's available. When it comes to slow charging, home charging, AC charging, 11 kilowatt support, 3 phases. And vehicle to load, of course, as every Kia does have today. So everything is collected here underneath the bonnet. So it's a front wheel drive car with a permanent magnet motor here at the front, putting out 147 horsepower. So 10 more than the long range version. And that's due to the higher output of the LFP battery pack. 250 Newton meters of torque, 107 kilowatts of output. 0 to 100 in 8.5 seconds with a top speed of 161 kilometers per hour. Inspired by the EV9 design as all other new EVs in the lineup from Kia, it has a very flat front with a flat bonnet, a big Kia logo on top, closed grille. There is no illumination here in between, just a black piano finish bar. You have these 2 daylight running accents and the headlight unit hiding in 3 levels just at that spot. You have this rugged plastic details, chrome finish, the active ventilations and a air spoiler just at the lowest part. This angle is probably the best looking angle of the EV2 if you ask me. This is the angle that makes the car look a bit bigger, a bit more grown up. Underneath the hood there's actually a frunk of 15 liters. You will still be able to put in a cable. Rails with 80 kilograms load capacity, a big air spoiler on top, brake lights. Underneath here we have a hidden windshield wiper, that's clever, and a rear fascia that only a mother could love. The design that ruins the whole rear face is the taillights. They are so strangely placed down below, strange shape, leaves a lot of body parts on top. I think this may be kind of a cost cutting measurement. Lower parts, rugged black plastic, chrome details, a tow bar. A manual tow bar, extra equipment of course, with a tow capacity of 750 kilograms. A manual boot with a backup camera, storage capacity spanning from 321 up to 403 liters depending on the seat setup and also the seating position. This is the 4-seater, so as you see you have a split section 50-50, not 40-60. You can fold the seats back from here, but first off, very important space is the underfloor storage. My recommendation would be to remove this because you can't really utilize this area. It's too low. You can adjust the back seat to gain some more boot capacity. You can do that from here. That's really practical. We can remove this. Unfortunately, there is no stowage area for hiding this, but let me show you the folding process. Just pull them from here, push them forward, you get a complete flat storage area. This is really practical. So despite being a small car, the 4-seater version, I think, is the go here. It will really add some practicality. Let's check out the back seats. And this is one of the more interesting parts of the EV2, I would say, especially if you go for the 4-seater version. The biggest perk is the possibility to slide the back seats individually. And the amount of sliding is like 18 centimeters, so we will gain a lot of cargo space depending on the passenger. And especially if you don't have any passenger, you can really play with the seat positioning to gain a lot of extra boot capacity. So not only the position, but also the angle. So the straightest position is this, almost like 85 degrees. I'm slightly touching the headliner, but I can still sit in this position. And if you slide it backwards or recline it, this is this is kind of a sleeping position. Maybe the most reclinable seat on the market. I mean, this is perfect. That together with a adjustable headrest will really give you some rest here at the back. So 2 grown-ups can actually travel here. And as you see, the legroom, let me see if we can straighten that up a little bit and give you kind of a better view. I'm not even touching the front seat, slightly touching it, okay, in the straight position, but no one sits like this. So I can actually sit straight. My feet is possible to squeeze underneath the front seat, despite having the front seat in its lowest position and adjusted after my driver position. I'm 193 centimeters tall, or 6'4". So a fairly comfortable ride here at the back. And even in this position, I still have like 1 or 2 fingers of headroom. Anyway, fairly flat seating position, but okay cushioning and quite comfortable actually. Let me close the door to hear the closing sound. Frame doors, no rattling, fairly solid. Hard plastics though, of course, kind of an entry-level car, the EV2, and the air, trim level air is also one of the lowest ones. So hard plastics, still a cushioned armrest here on the left side. You have the power window controller placed here. There is no seat heating or cooling here at the rear. A nice little message in each door lever saying, "Have a nice day." I mean, that's a nice message, isn't it? Other than that, I think for being such a small car and being able to travel 4 grown-ups, of course, depending on how much boot capacity you want to have, that's really impressive. I mean, I had the same feeling about the Inster, and since this car is slightly longer, or 20 centimeters longer, if you see it from the practical aspect, this will work as a first car for a family. The midsection consists of 2 manual air ventilations, only 2 zone klima set up here, so no separate zone for the rear seats. Underneath that you have a power outlet, a 230 volt outlet, 16 amps. That's good. You have 2 USB-C ports in traditional Kia manner on the backrests. Also an aspect I like with Kia in Hyundai. That's a clever way of putting them. You don't have any, that's strange. Here you have a pocket, and this you don't have in a pocket. I really don't know the reason for that. You have pockets in the door bins, very small pockets. You will fit a bottle and maybe some napkins, that's all. So it's time for the front. Door closing sound, same as at the rear, fairly solid. You have the same nice message on all 4 positions, so even as a driver you will be happy leaving the car with the message, "Have a nice day." Underneath that you have a control panel for the heated steering in 2 steps, the seat heating in 3 steps, and at just in front of the armrest you have this window controller buttons, unlock, lock the door. You have 4 stalks or 4 levers for the windows. That's good, not 2. You have the side view mirror controlling. You have the child lock. To the right, you have the adjustment of the headlights. You have the park brake, and you also have the traction control deactivation. The steering wheel. This is the cheaper steering wheel, not the same steering wheel you find in the EV5 or the cars upwards, but still has the same functions and the same great controls. So to the left, you have the drive mode selector, dedicated drive mode selector. This is really nice. On top of that, you have the driver aid or HDA functionality, like the speed limit assist. You can adjust the distance to the cars, the speed adjustment, you have the steering assist. Everything is collected here with individual buttons. Very easy to control and get used to. To the right, you have the media controls. A favorite button, the star. The star is a Hyundai and Kia scheme that goes for all the models. You can long press it to use or bind it to a specific custom function that you use often. You have the volume control, the phone control, voice control, etc. So that's very neat. In front of the steering wheel we have 2 pads, and that's the Regen pads. I'm really glad to see that they kept those. That's really important because this is one of the best perks when you go for a Kia. I love the togglers. In front of those there is, to the left you have the light controls, the stock for the light controls. To the right you have the stock for the windshield wipers, etc. And the classic gear selector, the EV gear selector, where you power on and power off the vehicle before leaving. Still the same 3-screen setup, 2 12.3-inch screens, 1 instrument cluster, 1 central media screen with touch functionality. In between those 2 screens there's a 5.3-inch climate control. I still have a hard time seeing the whole screen. I most often only see just the right edge of it, so not optimal. I need to lean over to see the whole function actually. Otherwise, a very clever function if you don't want to toggle around on the screen, but they can still launch that screen with a shortcut. That's also smart. So you have more shortcuts just underneath the screen. There's haptic touch buttons with shortcuts to the home, map, search functions, media, another favorite, star, and to the settings menu. Probably one of the better implementations, because in some Kia models you tend to put your hand on it when you're using the screen and by mistake pressing one of those haptic buttons. In this one you don't get that problem, so a better placing, a better implementation. Underneath that you have the volume control, manual air ventilations all over the place. Another hardware button layout for the AC control, so you have 2 zone klima here at the front. Below that we have the regular power section with 3 USB-C ports. There's no USB-A port anymore. That's good. Underneath that, a 12-volt 180-watt outlet. A nice placing of a Qi charger, rubberized, unfortunately not ventilated, but still a bit placed a bit higher, so it's kind of naturally ventilated and it stays in place thanks to all the rubber. You have 2 cup holders, 1 adjustable cup holder or removable cup holder actually, depending on the size of what you are drinking. Some decent storage compartment here, and another control panel with auto hold, launching the backup camera, parking sensors, some storage for your key, and some limited storage here for other smaller things. A cushioned armrest in a good position. The dashboard is mostly hard plastic, a bit hollow, but I guess that's expected in a EV2. The front part is covered in fabrics, gives it a nice touch and feel. That same fabric goes over to the door panels, and you have a traditional glove box. That's always good to see, because you don't have so much storage when it comes to the door pockets. They are very thin, as in the back, so this is really helpful. And this central storage is also good to have. To the last part before start driving, and that's the seat. The driver's seat is powered, the passenger seat is not, so it's manual. The good thing though that Kia has seemed to rework the construction of the under parts of the seat, so we can really push it downwards, which means that you can find a better angle for your long legs. So the thigh support is actually pretty good for being such a small car. I'm not complaining at all. I think this is one of the better ones, or maybe the best one in this size class. Bolstering is okay, a bit to the stiffer side, kind of recycled fabrics or plastics. Looks good, feels okay, fairly supportive. I mean, you have the side bolsters here, you have the seating bolsters, okay for this class. And the headrest, also very good. Adjustable in 2 axes, so we can adjust it height-wise, but also depth-wise. When it comes to software and user experience, you have the same operating system, same layout as in the other EV cars from Kia. If you go for the entry-level car, one thing to notice is that you won't get any native navigation support or navigation application, but you still have support for built-in Android Auto and built-in Apple CarPlay. And to be honest, when I use the navigation, I always use Android Auto because I prefer that. That's something I use daily. So all my favorites, I'm used to navigation, the traffic aware situations, etc. What you don't get when you use Android Auto is the automatic preheating when navigating to a charger. Fortunately, there is a setting for that, so you can manually, under the EV menu, actually EV settings, activate the battery conditioning manually. It also says the temperature in 3 steps, low, medium, high, and as soon as you get it to medium or high, it's perfect to charge it. You will hit the top charge speeds anyway, but just still remember to activate that, especially when it's cold outside. 7 years of over-the-air updates, that's new. You have some streaming capabilities, as you see here. You have YouTube built in. You have some entertainment applications, pet mode, weather. You have a calendar. You have a sport news mode, valet mode. So there is some things you really can play around with in the menu system. I almost forgot to mention the premium sound system from Harmon Kardon. It's an 8-speaker setup, D-Rack tuned, around 400 watts, with the bass elements inside the door panels. This is a very warm sounding, modern sounding sound system. And for a B-segment car, this is one of the better sound systems I have tried out. It's so easy tuned, it just worked right off the bat. You don't need to tune it at all. It's very nicely tuned from the start. It gives you a very dynamic sound, versatile sound. It is not the most detailed sound system in the world, but it's warm and the bass is really nice. I think it suits the car very good. So well in the driver's seat, on some curvy roads. I mean, it's front wheel drive. The steering is to the softer side, but not this uber soft comfort steering. It's somewhere in between. I think in a good way. Feels fairly direct. It suits the car's like capabilities and personality. The drive modes, you have a drive mode selector, as I mentioned here on the left of the steering wheel. You have a couple of ones: Eco, Normal, Sport, Snow. And on Eco you feel the lack of power. I mean, it doesn't give you everything. On Sport it's a bit more direct. It's putting out the full power. You feel the torque a bit more in Sport mode. Other than that, the difference does not feel in any other way. I mean, it doesn't affect the actual handling of the car. The suspension is still passive. So in that regards, it's the same. But I think I prefer it in Sport or in Normal. In Eco, it can get a bit frustrating. I prefer the acceleration curve of Sport mode. When it comes to region, as in the more expensive Kias, like the EV5 for instance, you still have the region paddles. That's, I would say it's by far the best like driving feature of Kia's electric vehicles. To the right, you decrease the amount of regen. To the left, you increase the amount of regen, more braking. So on level 0, it's a coasting function. You can coast. If I long press it to the right, I get this adaptive regen. So now it coasts since I don't have any car in front of me. I deactivate auto mode by long pressing it again to the right. Then it adds steps back to the level 0. Then I add regen level 1, level 2, level 3, and in level 3 you have the highest amount of regen. It's fairly strong. It reminds me of the regen in the EV5 that I recently tested out. If you long press the left paddle, you will get the I-paddle mode, and that actually brings the car to a full stop. So it's a true one-pedal driving feature. When it comes to the suspension, now on a bit curvy, uneven or bad surfaced roads, I think it behaves good. The suspension is really not too harsh for the car. It doesn't make any bad noises or sounds, and it feels okay in the curves. I mean, it doesn't give me this really exaggerated amount of body roll. It keeps the car fairly straight, I would say, and it feels good. I think it's really optimized for the car. The amount of cabin noise, it's actually more silent than I expected, despite having the bigger wheels. It feels silent. Kia have worked on the soundproofing, the insulation, the road noise, etc. And I can say that Kia did a good job on this car. Despite being to the smaller side, I mean the smallest EV in Kia's lineup, it still doesn't feel that small when it comes to comfort and cabin noise, and that's a good thing. They even have a rough road surface mimicking the Swedish roads or Scandinavian roads in South Korea, to be able to test the cars and adapt the soundproofing to the different surface conditions. I really appreciate that, because road noise on EVs can really be very intense, since you don't have any engine sound anymore. Then it makes more sense to create or to work on the silence in the cabin. If you want to know more specific things like charge speed, charge time, efficiency, real world range, cabin noise, then I'm doing another video. I will put the link up here when I test all those things. It's a bit more of a niche test, especially for you guys that are on the market or buying a new EV. Despite being only front wheel drive with 146 HP, I still think you have enough of power, at least for this kind of a car. Doesn't get boring. You have plenty of torque in all conditions, maybe not in very high speeds like about 120, but for smaller roads it's kind of playful. I like it. One update is the new HGA2 driver assist function, Highway Driving 2.0. So it's updated compared to the EV9, for instance, and it's adjusted to the new regulations. So the driver monitoring camera, the IR camera that used to be on top of the steering wheel column, is now placed underneath the rear view mirror. And the reason for that is that it from now on can look at both front passenger, the driver and the passenger at front. So if you do things like have your seat belt behind your back, or if you don't sit still in the front seat, it will warn you. And that also goes for the front passenger. So that's new. One downside I have discovered is that the camera here at the front don't seem to be a IR camera, which means that it can't see through your sunglasses. Hopefully that's only a software thing, but currently that's an issue. So to the left we have the driver aid functions. So I activate the HDA by pressing the lower button, and as you hear, it's beeping and it says lane following assist system conditions could not be met. I can't activate it. That's a bit strange. So the thing is, when I remove my sunglasses and press it again, it activates. So this is an issue. I mean, not being able to activate HDA2 with my sunglasses on, that is not perfect. Other than that, it's a stable system. I mean, I think and I feel it keeps me more centered in the lane, less wobbly than what I felt in the EV5. I don't know if there's a software difference between the two cars. This feels more stable. What it also has is lane change. So if I activate lane change, it will change the lane for me. That's really neat for such a compact car, for such a low price. Perfect for highway driving if it wasn't for my sunglasses. So during sunny days, you will have a problem. Now they are on. Let's see if it deactivates the system or not. May take some time. Now, deactivated. So lane following assist system conditions not met. It's clearly because of these. Another nice update or feature is that the traffic sign awareness or recognition is not only based on traffic signs, because it's also based on map instructions. So it's safer than only trusting the signs. So you have kind of a dual layer system, which means that it will be more precise and adapt better and more safe to the actual speed limits. That's a very welcome update. And Kia is also using map information for the adaptive regeneration. So if you set it to adaptive, it will adjust accordingly. I mean, if you come close to a corner, a turning point, or a rondella, it will add some regen because of that. The new EU regulations gets tighter every time, gets a bit more picky, gets a bit more annoying. And it also goes for this, because they are adhering to all the new regulations, which means that you will get more beeps. Fortunately, the speed limit beep is so much more settled, so much more nice. So Kia has really reworked the sound profile, so it's so much better. It doesn't even disturb me. I mean, I hear it, I look at the screen, but it is not disturbing, it is not stressful. So a bit more of a peaceful sound profile. That's super nice. So the thing is, even if I deactivate the driver awareness system, DAW, it will reactivate during the same drive. And that's by the new regulation. It's time for me to summarize my view, my experience of the Kia EV2. I mean, I have been driving it for almost a week now, and I'm trying to use it as much as possible as a daily driver. So take it into the city, dense traffic, parking, testing practicality, going shopping, etc. Night driving, highway driving, family driving. I mean, all the aspects to be able to reflect as good view as possible for you guys. And first off, the price. I mean, the starting price is 330,000 Swedish crowns. And that's with a heat pump included, because the heat pump is always included on the Swedish market, at least. I think it's for the whole Scandinavian market. This specific car cost 375,000 Swedish crowns. That's with the tow hitch and the air package, and the bigger rims, etc. So a bit more expensive. That's around 34,000 euros. The entry level is 26 or 27,000 euros. So that's the difference we are playing with here. I have some goods and some bads. Let me start with the bads. The first obvious thing is when driving during nighttime and using the HDA system, self-drive assist, it starts wobbling. So it can't keep a straight line within the lane. It's wobbling from side to side, probably because of it can't really get the lines of the road in darkness. And this is with highways with lighting. Still really can't find the right pattern or path. That's strange. The same thing goes for the EV5. Maybe that's something they will fix with software, hopefully. The other thing is sunglasses. And this is pretty amazing. I mean, a brand new car with a lot of safety systems, and you can't even use your sunglasses. So as soon as I put these on, the HDA system turns off. Or if I have them on, I can't even turn on the HDA system. Isn't that strange? I mean, that's something that has been working for years now with a IR camera. But there seems to be something with the new camera setup that can't handle sunglasses. And I don't think it's something specific with my glasses. These are regular Ray-Bans, nothing special at all. That's really disappointing. Hopefully that's also something they will fix with software if the hardware is capable of that. I'm not sure. So that's two downsides. The third one is the cabin noise. It's a bit noisy, especially in higher speeds. Highway speeds, it can get a bit annoying. And the last part is actually the looks from the rear. I mean, the back end of the car is really, I don't understand the design. This is my own perspective, of course. Everyone sees things individually and differently, and design is something that's very personal. But you know when a rear part looks good, I mean, in a natural way. This does not. Okay, let's move on to the good parts. Equipment, the screen layout, same as the more expensive Kias. The steering wheel is perfect with all the controls, very easy to utilize. A lot of hardware buttons, so easy controlling here. I like the software. I like the positioning and the adjustment of the seats despite being such a small car. I would really recommend you to go for the four-seater version. A bit more expensive, a very small bit, but it adds so much flexibility. And to be honest, you won't really drive 5 persons in the car anyway, because it's a narrow car. Go for the four-seater version. You will add so much versatility and flexibility when it comes to cargo space and backseat space. It's such a big difference. And I would also go for the LFP version, this version, the standard range version, because I wouldn't even bother going for the NMC long range version, because the actual range you lose is not that much in reality, because you charge the LFP battery to 100% at least once a week. You don't do that with the NMC pack because you will damage the cells quicker. So the actual usable range on the NMC pack is 80% of the stated range. Then you will end up in like 360 kilometers. This one has 317 with the right wheels. So the actual difference is not that huge. And this has 10 horsepower more and is cheaper. So that would be my recommendation. LFP four-seater. I mean, this is a great car. It is. And you can really use it as a family car, as your first car. It won't be the best car for extremely long traveling, but still, if you want to do long travel, you can still charge it fairly quick in 29 minutes. That's not bad. This is my summary of the Kia EV2. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Hype the video to help me spread the word. Engage into the comment section. Share your thoughts about the EV2. What do you think? Pros and cons. Ask me questions if you have any. And most importantly, stay electric. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.